The United States has the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we're going to use it. Not only will this reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services, it'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto.
President Trump, just days after his inauguration, spelling out his vision for a vibrant energy future. Joining us tonight is the man in charge of that effort, Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Mr. Secretary, thanks for the time. Thanks for having us here.
Thrilled to be here. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah. You've been in the job 6 months. You know, as you look at it, what's your biggest successes and what are your biggest failures, or at least challenges?
Yeah. Well, success, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and to come to Washington to work for President Trump, and you just heard him speak there, he's all in on bringing common sense back to energy. More energy is better than less energy. More affordable energy is better than more expensive energy. Just common sense. But Washington was going the opposite direction for 4 years. Let me see one other thing. Natural gas. Natural gas is the fastest growing source of energy on the planet. And it's also the fastest growing export of the United States. We're by far the world's biggest gas producer. The previous administration stopped issuing permits for expansion of United States natural gas exports.
There was an export ban at one point.
Just nuts. I mean, that's bad for our allies, that's bad for our country, bad for our economy. So to be able to reverse that stuff quickly, that's empowering and thrilling. Challenges, though, electricity grid. This is the world's most complicated machine. It's the lifeblood of our economy and our lives, and it's complicated. And the trajectory we were on, we would not have had a chance to lead in the AI race, and we would be soon suffering from massive blackouts. So we are working feverishly 7 days a week on reversing that trend. But do I worry about that? Absolutely.
To your point, Bloomberg had a piece, U.S. grid lacks capacity for new data centers. It's according to the Monitoring Analytics Watchdog Group. That's a grid from D.C. To Chicago. So you're worried about that as AI ramps up, whether we as a country are going to be able to produce the energy needed.
Yes, we need to lead in the AI race, and I believe we will lead. We can ramp up energy production. It just takes time. So we are working feverishly to get private capital flowing, to expand the capacity of our electric grid, because we need to both deliver the power needed for AI without driving large price increases onto American consumers.
Speaking of price increases, here's what you said July 8th. Take a listen.
Gasoline prices today are the lowest they've been in 4 years. And if you correct for inflation and forget the crazy COVID year, in inflation-adjusted terms, they're the lowest they've been in 20 years. So we're very proud of that. If you lower the price of gasoline, you lower the price of diesel, you lower the price for people to heat their homes, they just have more opportunities in life.
But, you know, I'm just wondering about those numbers. Gas, Mr. Secretary, is up 1.4% since Election Day. It's up 0.6% since Inauguration Day. So it is up. I mean, it's minuscule, but it's up. And for people sitting at home, that means something.
And that's because we're in peak demand season. Gasoline prices and gasoline demand are higher in the summer than they are in the winter. So normally you see gas maybe 15 cents higher in the summertime than in the winter. So even though it's flat or up a penny, that's actually down. So my comment previously was about summertime gasoline prices. That's what people care about the most, and that's when they're the highest.
International Energy Agency, which makes predictions many governments and investors use, said in June that oil demand for transportation would peak as soon as 2027. Republicans have criticized that agency before. Do you agree with that outlook? And if not, why?
No, I don't. Look, I've been an energy nerd since I was a kid in high school. And the peak in energy demand has always been 5, 10, or maybe 15 years into the future, and it's never arrived. In fact, energy demand over my lifetime has grown about 1.6, 1.7% compound annual growth rate my entire lifetime. And it's growing at the same rate today as it was 40 years ago.
Last week, you told another network you would look at creative ideas to refill the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the SPRO. Earlier this year, you were looking for $20 billion in funding for that. Congress in the big, beautiful bill gave you $171 million. Is filling the SPRO still a priority? And what kind of deals are you thinking about?
It is. I mean, the SPRO is a strategic asset. It's not for commercial reasons. It's for that bad day that might happen. You need to have it. So there was money in the One Big Beautiful Bill to finish the repairs to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And there were previously slated sales, actually, that would have. So I had to buy back those sales, basically, and cancel them. But you're right, only a modest amount of money to grow the storage in the capacity.
Are you going to ask for more? I mean, do you?
Oh, I'll constantly ask for more. Yeah, we want to fill the Strategic Petroleum Reserve up. But as I said at another time on the news, there's other creative ways we can do it. Think of all the oil and gas underground that's under federal lands. It may not even be under normal federal lands, special situation lands that's just sitting there. I think we can strike deals with entrepreneurs that are going to go in there and develop those resources and pay us in oil that we'll put into the SPR.
Speaking of oil, what's the administration's target processing time for pipelines and federal onshore oil and gas wells? There's a competing with state permitting that's light years, it seems like, between the state and the federal efforts. Are there efforts to, how will ongoing planned policy changes kind of realize those goals?
Oh, critical thing for President Trump. And he's always like, well, how long does it take? Well, we should do it faster than that. A month? Can you do, well, why not a week? Why not a day? So he wants it to be thoughtfully done. We got to be safe. We got to have reasonable care for the environment. But moving quick allows projects to be built. And you're right. So if we move quick, now maybe the state is the holdup. But I have engaged in conversations with governors across this country, Democrat and Republican, about everyone wins, including the residents of your state, if we can build infrastructure.
There's a new rare earth elements mine in the U.S., first time in 70 years in Wyoming, opened up just this month. Where's the rare earth situation? We've got that rare earth deal with Ukraine. I guess Congo has something. Where are we as a country?
Yeah, so this is part of the U.S. As we get wealthier and people get more entitled, it just becomes very hard to build things in this country. Another huge part of President Trump's platform. We need Americans to be able to build things again, big things again. Mines are big things. It's on average 19 years from a discovery to a mine in the United States. We have to change that. And China has used that leverage of their control of the supply chain for rare earth elements to hold it over our head, to slow deliver things that are key to our manufacturing process. So we have an across the administration effort. That mine in Wyoming you saw just opened, first one in 70 years. We're expanding the one is there with some government help. We're going to get processing and manufacturing of the key components there. We are going to do things with allies overseas that we can friend source things that we can't home shore right away. So this takes time, but we're moving fast. We will not be in the position we are in today at the end of this administration. We will be much more secure.
A couple more things. Is sanctioning Russian oil, do you think, key to ending the Ukraine war?
Look, it is huge pressure on Russia. That's the biggest pressure you can put on them. And President Trump has been all in on peace wherever it is.
Well, you think we're heading that way?
War. I think it's a very real possibility. And Bret, thankfully, where we stand today, we're by far the world's largest oil producer, by far the world's largest natural gas producer. We're able to do things today we couldn't do before. Look, we mentioned how low gasoline prices were. That's after a major conflict in the Middle East. That was unthinkable 20 years ago.
So at times you've talked about all in, whatever you're going to do. And there's a lot of people looking at the AI demand for energy, saying we're going to have to do everything we possibly can before nuclear gets on board. So are wind and solar part of your equation?
I would say I've never said I'm for all of the above. I'm for everything that works. Anything that can deliver affordable, reliable, secure energy.
So there's the pause there that wind, maybe it doesn't work?
Well, wind investment peaked years ago, and it's declined, both because the value of the energy is very low. Who knows when the wind's going to blow? And there's been huge public opposition to it, onshore and offshore wind.
I mean, President Trump's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he listens to voters, and he looks at these same ugly albatrosses everyone else does. Solar's a different story. Solar is growing rapidly in the United States right now, and I think it's got a future. The idea there was just it should have a commercial future, not paid for by the taxpayers' future.
Yeah, and so as you look at the challenges ahead, nuclear and getting that online is going to be something that you're really focused on.
It is. Like the nuclear industry took off after World War II. In the first 25 years, we licensed and put under construction 130 nuclear reactors at over 80 power plants. Then we created the NRC, or really we split the Atomic Energy Commission into the NRC to regulate nuclear power and the Department of Energy to promote and advance the technology. And what's happened since then is we've licensed and built 2 new reactors in 45 years, after over 100 in 25 years. So clearly something's got to change there.
So you're optimistic. I mean, you seem like an optimistic guy, but you're optimistic sitting in this seat.
This is America. We put people on the moon. Can we build nuclear reactors again? Absolutely. Is it going to be a challenge? Do a lot of things have to change to get this ball rolling again? Yes. But can we do it? Yes, we can, and yes, we will.
Mr. Secretary, we appreciate the time. We're going to tour around your great department here a little bit later. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate everyone's interest in energy.
We're at the first floor of the Energy Department, where there is a museum here that shows all the different kinds of energy that the U.S. uses all across the grid. But this department was actually started in the midst of the oil and gas shortages. Back in the energy crisis, it was fueled by long lines at gas stations, unrest in the Middle East, and blackouts. In 1977, President Jimmy Carter signed the Department of Energy Organization Act. It consolidated 30 separate energy functions into what would become the Energy Department we know today. The department was also given the responsibility for overseeing nuclear weapons, providing nuclear security. We're going to talk about that a little later in the show. Special report continues after this. Here at the Energy Department with the Energy Secretary. Mr. Secretary, thanks for the time. It all started with this, right, for this department?
Right before World War II started, the first time the uranium atom is split, fission, in Berlin, in Nazi Germany. This opens up immense possibilities. The United States launches a thing called the Manhattan Project to develop an atomic bomb, led by Robert Oppenheimer. It's the first group big science project ever. But in 28 months, we go from advancements in nuclear physics to developing a bomb just massively larger than anything before.
And really, this is where the Energy Department comes from.
It is the genesis of our department.
So when you look at that Manhattan Project and you see what you all are doing today, are you thinking of another Manhattan Project, like looking forward?
We are. What distinguished the Manhattan Project was we couldn't get second. Nazi Germany had a bomb program too. If they beat us in that race, we're in a different world. Today, artificial intelligence is that Manhattan Project too. It will be enormously beneficial for science, scientific discovery, and so many other things, but we can't be second. If China leads in AI by a meaningful amount, our national security is threatened.
I mean, go from the Manhattan Project to all the trips that you've taken in just the 6 months in office here, and then this is obviously a gravity bomb.
This is an atomic bomb. We built a lot of these in the 50s and 60s, and we built up our arsenal. Then we had the end of the Cold War, and we stopped investing in new bombs. We had a lot, but we weren't investing in new ones. Now is the time to modernize and upgrade our nuclear arsenal. It's another major effort of the Department of Energy.
How's it going for you? I know it's a lot of travel, but I mean, it's different than the day job you used to have.
It's exciting. I mean, this combination of big science and advancements that are coming in AI and quantum and fusion energy, and the responsibility to build a modern nuclear arsenal, maintain the arsenal we have, and then help our energy space, our electricity grid and all that. So it's a range of activities, but all stuff that excites me. I'm honored to be here. I'm thrilled to be here.
You do seem kind of fired up about it.
I am indeed. As a lifelong entrepreneur, I haven't had a boss since I was 19,
Yeah.
But my new boss is very forward-leaning. He's bold. He loves this country. He's got a passionate vision to make America strong so we can have prosperity at home and peace abroad. Right. And he's a great boss. He's an enabler of fast and big things to happen. He's not obstructive. He's not a micromanager.
Big changes. Mr. Secretary, thanks for the time. So take a look at this. Special report continues after this. And as we take a break, we go inside the department's cyber war room. Inside the Energy Department is the Emergency Response Center. This is part of Cybersecurity, Energy Security, Emergency Response Office. Alex Fitzsimmons is the director. Mr. Secretary, good to see you again. Alex, this is where you kind of monitor things real time. What's happening here? This is a mock-up.
Yes, absolutely. This is DOE's Energy Response Center. So this is where DOE will mobilize during a cyber or physical incident to help the energy sector respond and recover from incidents. And so this is our Eagle Eye tool where we can monitor power outages in real time all across the country.
Mr. Secretary, this is real. I mean, this is not something that might not happen. This is something that could happen.
New England has a very tight energy system as it is right now. When it gets cold in New England, they can't get enough natural gas to heat everyone's home and power the power plants. They burn diesel, oil, fuel oil, and that's when everything's working well. Imagine a cold front in New England and then a cyber hack on a pipeline. Our adversaries think about things like that. That turns a critical energy situation into a human disaster.
And you can monitor it all real time here and get the people that need to see it real time.
Absolutely, and it's a top priority for us. I mean, we know our foreign adversaries are pre-positioning inside our networks. They're holding our critical infrastructure at risk for a time and place of their choosing, and so it's absolutely important that we prioritize the security and resilience of the energy sector.
Okay, good to see the inside. Thank you. Special report continues after this. Welcome back to the Forrestal building. This is home of the Department of Energy's headquarters. This was once known as the Little Pentagon because it was originally built to be the Defense Department. The building's namesake, James Forrestal, was the first Secretary of Defense, but first served as Navy Secretary before the creation of that department. He made numerous trips to battlefields overseas during World War II, coming under fire by the Japanese multiple times. He even witnessed an atomic bomb test in the Marshall Islands after the war, and later spoke about the tremendous power unleashed by the atomic bomb. As we mentioned earlier, the Energy Department is responsible for the nuclear weapons and nuclear security. Nuclear power will prove to be huge, as we heard from the Secretary, when it comes to artificial intelligence.